Uh, yo, her shoes straight was hooker. Don't play, I cook you with shaking sugar. I'm getting cake, fatty, chatty, bacon, bugger. She said she hate a pusher. I said I hate a booger. A snotty attitude, she laughed. I purple hazed and cushed her. My charm captured her. She having man trouble. I'm having woman problems. It all began in Harlem. Wife with the Louis Vuitton said I'm living wrong and I did her wrong. Forget a song. I swear I love her to death, but we can't get along. Her problems big as hell. Her dad died, me and be the friend crossed her mom. Breast cancer, got laid off, and plus her son got sickle cell. Damn, mommy, hit the L's. Mrs. Bell got shit to tell. Sound horrific,
guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Doing something a little different today. Over the next month or so, we're going to have 3 different episodes, each featuring my favorite houses in different categories. So today we're going to do my top 5 favorite designer fragrance houses. Next we'll do my top 5 favorite indie fragrance houses, and then we'll finish it up with my top 5 favorite niche fragrance houses. So I just thought this would be an interesting exercise for me to do myself, and when I was going through it I thought, well, I might as well make a video. I'm sure some of my subscribers would like to see this, so I decided to do so. So with each I'm going to do 2 honorable mentions. Let's get right into the honorable mentions. First honorable mention, you guys probably know, as far as this label's sort of private or privé releases go, not a big fan. I just feel like there's usually alternatives for better prices. I'm a fan of this house as a designer, although they did something I don't love where they made a crucifix necklace out of penises. I just think that's in poor taste. But regardless, I think this fragrance house, as far as their department store releases, does a really good job, and that's Tom Ford. And the fragrance I've used to, or picked to illustrate my love for them is, of course, this guy, Black Orchid, which is, for me, I think the best thing Tom Ford's ever done. Fragrance-wise, when you look at what's out there, Tom Ford Extreme, Tom Ford Man, Grey Vetiver, the newer Noir Extreme, which I think is really nice. I just think they're solid releases throughout the designer category of Tom Ford. I think many of them are really easy to like and really easy to wear, and if you had a couple in your collection, I think it's nice to have Tom Ford fragrances. The prices don't break the bank, and they're usually really good quality. So that's honorable mention number 1. Honorable mention 2, really thought about putting this one in the top 5. The other houses just had better reasons for me to be there, but the second honorable mention is going to go to the house of Terry Mugler. And I think Terry Mugler makes really good fragrances. I think that once you go, for men at least, once you go past Angel Men, the only thing and its flankers, the only thing you have left, of course, is Pure Cologne. I wish they would do some other stuff, but the flankers are really good. The one I've chosen to pick here is Pure Coffee, which isn't my favorite. Pure Malt is my favorite, but I thought Pure Coffee was really well done, and it sort of came out of nowhere, I think, and so you just always sort of wonder what's next. I don't think people thought Ultra Zest would be there, and they seem to be really good at coming up with new ideas within the Angel Men line. I just wish they would do a new fragrance, still do the flankers, but bring something new to the table. So honorable mention number 2, Terry Mugler. So now let's get into the top 5. House number 5. This is a house where they were really smart to bring in a top-tier perfumer as their in-house nose, and I think that I don't want to say gamble, but that investment is paid off in spades. Jean-Claude Elena at Hermes has brought so many interesting scents to men and women. You look at the whole Jardin series, you look at how he sort of updated the Eau de Cologne line. He did this wonderful Hermescence line. I didn't want to include the Hermescence line in this because I do sort of consider that their niche line. And of course, he hit a real home run with men with Terre de Hermes, and really one with women with Jour de Hermes. So 5 obviously is Hermes. I'm a big fan of Jean-Claude Elena, and the fragrance that I use to illustrate this is this guy, Eau de Mandarin Ambry, easily one of my favorite fragrances. It was definitely on my top 100 of all time. It's a beautiful combination of mandarin orange, passion fruit, and a little bit of amber. It is in addition to their Eau de Cologne line, and I think he really did a good job of updating that line with this. I think Narcisse Blue was a little bit of a flop, but Pamplemousse Rose is really good, and I think he redid Orange there. I just think hopefully Christine Nagel will do great things when Jean-Claude Ellena finally leaves Hermes, but I think they're going to be pretty big shoes to fill at this house, as they have so many different fragrances from all different sorts of collections that are just quality. Number 4, we're going back to Tom Ford. Not really, but number 4 is Yves Saint Laurent. And Yves Saint Laurent, I just think they're so overlooked. You look what they did back in the day with just Opium and Pour Homme, and how they transitioned into Rive Gauche and M7, and now they've modernized with the L'Homme series. Now again, I wish they would stop doing L'Homme flankers and put something new out, but there are so many options within YSL, from Opium to Pour Homme to Kouros and its flankers, to the L'Homme flankers, to Rive Gauche, to Jazz, to Live Jazz, to M7. They just have a ton of great options. They now have done a wise thing and sort of put out their own private line with a leather scent that gets a lot of comparisons to Tuscan leather, and a wood scent and a rose scent. So I really respect Yves Saint Laurent. My favorite fragrance from them is Rive Gauche, but the fragrance I've chosen here to show my respect is M7, and the reason is because that really is the first designer fragrance, at least I think so, that brought oud to the Western market, and people have been copying it ever since. So I have a lot of respect for YSL. Number 3, this house, man, I think, not including their higher end line, I think I have 4 or 5 fragrances by this house, and there are so many more to go. And I'm talking about the House of Guerlain. I have nothing from their Aqua Allegoria line. I know there's a bunch of them I want from there. Mandarin Basilic, the green one, I forget the name. It's escaping me now. I think Herba Fresca, Pampelune. There's the Anise one. I haven't touched that. I have not yet bought a Shalimar or one of its flankers. I know I'm going to get that. There's just so much within Guerlain to like, and of course they do have the higher end stuff, the art and material line, which has Tonka Imperial and Spiritus and all of those, Angelique Noir. But there's a lot you can get from them for under $100. That's really good. I have not checked L'Homme Ideal yet. As of filming this, I am planning on blind buying a bottle of it in a couple of weeks. But even without that, there's so much to keep you occupied. And the fragrance that I chose to represent my affinity for this House Guerlain is not Lige, but Lig. L'Instant de Guerlain, not the extreme version. I'm one of the few people I think that prefers the original. I just think it's a little bit lighter and easier to wear it all year round. My housekeeper dropped it, you could see, and it was almost very bad, but somehow the juice survived. Big fan of Guerlain. Number 2 is another house where wisely they have pretty much kept the perfume or in-house with one person. You look at Chanel through the ages again, and you start off with Pour Monsieur, and then they went to Antius, which was a really sort of unique, challenging animalic fragrance. Allure probably one of the best lines with all of its flankers to come over the last 20 years. There's fragrances in this house that have mass appeal. There are fragrances for serious fragrance heads. There are fresh fragrances. There's a fragrance for every guy within Chanel. I am not the biggest fan in the world of Bleu de Chanel. I kind of, like a lot of other people, think it was a little bit of a too safe of a choice for them. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more daring and true to the Chanel DNA, but can't complain about them. They have done one of my favorite designer fragrances in the world, and it of course is the fragrance that I'm going to pick to represent them. It is the great Egoist. I just love that one. So my number one favorite designer house, guys, it should come at no surprise. If you checked my top 100 fragrances of all time done on my blog, number one, of course, was Fahrenheit by Dior. You go through Dior and you see how they've had a relevant men's scent, basically in any time period, all the way back to Eau Sauvage, to Fahrenheit, to Dior Homme. And I would say even between those, they've had good releases. Dune is a good fragrance for men. Higher is a good fragrance. There's flankers out the wazoo of Fahrenheit and Dior Homme and Eau Sauvage. They have a really rich Privé line that to me is the best private line of any designer. I just think Dior gets it. Dior knows how to make good fragrances. Now, I don't know. I know that as of recording this, there's some splitting of their newest fragrance, which hasn't been released yet, Sauvage. And I haven't heard outstanding things about that. Obviously, I need to be my own judge of what I think of a fragrance, but a little disappointed by what I've heard. But even with that, if that's not great, they are allowed to have one miss. I think every other fragrance house on this list has certainly had a miss. And I could go through them with you if you want, but maybe that'll be another time. But Dior, far and away, my number one house, and the fragrance I've chose to represent that, of course, is my favorite fragrance of all time, Fahrenheit. So guys, hope you enjoyed this concept. We'll be back soon with my top 5 favorite indie houses. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, guys. You know what it is.
Couldn't play daytime when the night come, but I'm from Harlem, want a problem. Yeah, you dealing with the right one, a female, I like one, a straight girl, a dyke one.